Good day guys, and welcome to this tutorial, the second in its series, where we will be looking at the production of a building in 3 dimensions. Alright, now I particularly mention the production of a building as opposed to the drawing of a building, because in Architecture 2016 what is done is that we actually make the buildings, as opposed to in Autocad where the buildings are actually drawn. Alright, to do that I'm going to be opening the template that was previously created in our previous tutorial. So from our Autocad startup screen, I'm going to go to templates and I'm going to be looking for the template that was previously created. Here it is, mark Autocad drawing template. So I'm just going to be launching that. Alright, by launching that, Autocad would have given me a new drawing with a name. Now, based on the amount I have opened, I am now at 8. So I'm going to, as customary, once you start a drawing, what you should actually do is give that drawing a name. And so I'm actually going to be saving that as my Autocad. I'm going to be saving it as my Autocad project. Alright, and it's going to be saved no longer as a template, and I no longer want it saved in the template zone either. So I'm going to be saving that in my documents as my Autocad project, and I give a save. Alright, now my drawing now has a name, such that if the drawing should get messed up, at least it could be easily recovered. Now, the first thing I'm going to be doing, however, is to open up a copy of that drawing that we are going to be working on. So I have already downloaded, so let me just open that. Let me move this aside as well. Alright, so let that stays here. Now here we have a sample of the building that we are going to be making. Now I'm going to be making use, however, of the build tools provided in Autocad. Alright, so to do that, let's get started from the Home tab. You would realize that the build tool is now a feature of Autocad architecture, as we're going to be using to construct this building. Let me share screen, however, so that I could have on one side of my screen, I could have my Autocad interface, while also having a look at the diagram as it's being produced. To do that, I'm just going to be dragging my Autocad interface onto the left of the screen and having my PDF version of the file on the right side. Alright, to produce this building, I'm going to be using the wall feature of the build pull down. Alright, because I'm going to be building walls. Now, the first thing we have to establish, however, are some basic dimensions in terms of what size these walls would have been. So let us determine that prior to going in. Most of this building will be accommodating a pitched roof, and basic heights for walls accommodating a pitched roof would have been approximately 11 feet 6 inches. In metric, that would work out to be 3,450 millimeters. Alright, notwithstanding the fact that some walls would be bearing slab roofs, and those walls would be reduced later on to a height of 2,700 millimeters, 9 feet. Alright, so to do that, let us go over to our Autocad interface and let us select our wall feature. Alright, so from Autocad we select our wall pull down. So we go for wall and we make those basic settings from our properties dialog box. 2 basic settings need to be made here. For example, the width of the wall. As default in Autocad, here we have a 240 millimeter wall. So let's go and change that thickness to 150 millimeters, 6 inches, and the base height to 11 feet 6 inches, which is 3,450 millimeters. With that done, we ensure that our auto mode is on, because we would want for our lines or our walls to be moving either perfectly vertical or perfectly horizontal as displayed on our diagram. So we turn our auto mode on. Alright, let's turn that on. And on our screen, we pull down and to the right, because the first wall I'm going to be drawing really represent this wall here along with this wall. So what I do, I click on my screen, I give a pull down, I click, and I move to my right, and again I give a click. I give a escape or a enter to escape that command. What I have done so far though is to have basically drawn this L portion of the wall representing the corner of this master bed, well, it's labeled here as a master bathroom, but that's actually a master bedroom. Alright, back on our Autocad interface, let me zoom in a little closer so we can actually realize that what I have is actually wall with a thickness of 150 millimeters right there and right here. Alright, so as I'm saying, that basically represents the wall structure we have here. I'm going to be showing later on that this is actually a 3D setup, but we are looking at it from a top view as indicated from Autocad view controls here. Now, to populate the remainder of the building, what I'm going to be doing is to offset walls. Alright, now one of the things we have to notice, however, is that whenever we offset a wall, and if the dimensions we are offsetting is an in to in measurement as indicated here, it is important that we remember to add back one wall thickness to that dimensions, because Autocad will be measuring from the outside of the wall to the inside of the wall. Alright, so what we have to ensure we do is to measure is to add back one wall thickness to its dimensions. Alright, so here we go. From our modify, we would have selected offset. When Autocad prompts us to enter the distance, there we would have offset the distance specified as the width of this master bedroom is 4,005. We add that 150, so it becomes 4650. We're finished entering dimensions, so we give an enter. Autocad prompts us to select the object we wish to offset. It would have been this wall here. Now Autocad wants us to point on the side that we wish to put this wall, whether it's going to be on this side or on this side. Now since we want it on this particular side, then we click on this side. Autocad would have given this wall, alright, because we have indicated that we would have wanted it on the right side of the first wall. Alright, now we would have also noticed that to the right of that master bedroom, we would have had a porch somewhere here. Now, as per the drawing, the width of that porch would have been 4,500. Now, since offset was the last command I used, there is no need to keep selecting offset from the toolbar. We could just give an enter to release the command and then enter to re-enter the command. Again, Autocad asks us to specify the distance. It's no longer 4650, it would be 4200 plus the 150, so we are going to enter 4300. Sorry, that would be 4350. 42 plus 150. Give an enter. Select the wall. Point on the side you want it to go on, which is this side. So we click on this side. Alright. We would have had this wall being put in. Alright. Now there is one more vertical wall, and that's for the bedroom number 2 And bedroom number 2, according to the drawing, we could come over here and zoom to have a closer look at that. 3,900 millimeters, the width of that room. So from the Autocad interface, we give a enter to release the command, enter to return the command. We no longer want 34350. What we need is the 3900 plus 150, and that would give us 4050. We're finished typing distances, so we give a enter. Autocad wants us to select the object. It's this object. Now it wants us to tell it which side to put it on. It's going on this side. Alright? And so we would have had the 3 walls, or the 3 basic walls, emanating from the front towards the back of the building. We, however, realize though that the porch is not in line, or should not be drawn in line with the master bedroom. There should be an indentation of 1050. Now, since that dimension is not given as an internal dimension, then there is no need to add that extra 150. So we give an enter and an enter, and we would have input that 1050. Enter. It is from this wall backwards. Having offset that though, we would realize that there was now a need for some trimming to be done. Take for example, this wall should not protrude through the bedroom, nor should this wall protrude beyond this intersection. Alright? To fix that up, we go to our modified toolbar and we go trim. Alright? And we select trim. Having selected trim, we would have selected, Autocad prompts us to select the object. We would have selected this wall as our boundary, enter, and we would remove this portion as well as this portion. We give an enter to release the command. Alright? It is also realized that bedroom 2 is also not on the same level as the porch. Bedroom 2 also has an indentation, and that indentation is 900 from this wall. Alright, and so again we do an offset. Autocad asks us to specify the distance. The offset distance of that wall is 900, and so we give 900 and an enter. Autocad says select the object. It is 900 from this wall, and we are measuring in this direction. Alright, again the wall protrudes through the porch, so this portion of the wall has to be removed. As a matter of fact, a number of trimming has to be done. From our modified toolbar, again we go trim, and we don't want any portion of this wall which protrudes beyond this wall. So this is now our boundary. Enter to trim this. Alright. No, I made an error here, so let's undo that, because alright, let's undo that. Let's give a Control Z, because that area has already been trimmed. So let's go again. So we want to trim. We select this as our boundary because we want to remove this portion. We give an enter and we remove that. Alright. We also want to remove this portion, so we also remove that. This is now the boundary to remove this piece, so we trim, enter. This is now our boundary, and we want to remove this piece. Likewise, at this intersection, which terminates here, we could do a trim, and we could select both boundaries at the same time, because this is the boundary to trim this, while this is the boundary to trim this. And so we could select this as one boundary, this as another. We're done selecting boundaries, so we give an enter and click on the pieces you want removed, like this piece and this piece. Having done all of that, we would now realize that the front of the building has now taken shape. What we're now going to be doing is to offset the building towards the back. So we're going to be measuring now from the front, putting in the walls, heading towards the back. And I'm going to be working first of all on the right side of the building. Alright, and the bedroom 2 side, moving to the back. To do that, we observe that the distance from a front wall here to another wall here, which borders the closet, is 4,200. So we do an offset. Let's do an offset of 4,002 plus 150. So it's 4350. We give an enter. We select this wall and we point on this side. Alright, that would have given us the closet wall. The width of the closet, so we give a enter, enter, and we type the width of the closet, which would be 750 plus 150, 900. We give a enter. It is from this wall, moving this direction. Again, we would have gotten this wall. The width of the bathroom, 2,100 plus the extra 150. We give an enter to release the command, enter to bring back the offset command, and we give 2250. Enter. That gives us again the bathroom. We give an enter, enter 900, enter. And from this wall in this direction we have the other closet. Alright, moving behind that, we would have had another bedroom, bedroom 3. So we give a enter, enter, and that's 4,002 plus 150, 4,350 millimeters. We give a enter, and it is measured from this closet wall, measured in this direction. There we would have had bedroom 3. It is also realized though that that's the point of termination. The building on this side ends right here, as realized from our drawing. It means this wall has to be trimmed off, and this has to be the boundary for trimming. Alright, so from our modify, we go trim. We select our boundary, which is this line. We give a enter, and we could now remove that portion of the wall. Alright, we give a enter to release the command. There we would have realized that the building is pretty much taking shape, especially on the right side. The bathroom, however, has a protrusion, and based on the dimension of that protrusion, it's given as 600 millimeters. And so from this wall, we need a dimension of 600. And again, we are not going to be adding that 150 because that's an external dimension. All right. And so from our modify, we do an offset. Autocad prompts us for the distance, so we give 600, enter. But the 600 is measured from this wall, and it's going in this direction. Alright. Now, that wall that was just offset, this wall, must now be terminated with this wall somewhere here. Likewise, it should be terminated with this wall somewhere here, so as to have these two termination points, because that's where this wall is supposed to be. Alright. Now to do that, we do a fillet. So from our modified toolbar, we move over to our fillet, which is this icon here. So we hit the arrow, we pull down, and we ensure that we're getting the fillet option. From that, you want to select the radius. You want to select the radius option in that. So I type a R, I give an enter. and I ensure that my doesn't seem to be in fillet. Let me go again. From my modify, let me go and get again fillet. I indicate the radius for that should be 0. I give an enter if it's 0, and I'm wanting to fillet this wall with this wall. Alright, fillet was the last command I used, and I have need for another fillet, so I give an enter and I select this wall with this wall. Alright, that would give me the feature or the profile as on the diagram. The wall between these two walls here, however, have to be removed. So again, from my modify, we give a trim, and we want to trim the wall between this line and this line. So these two walls would have been our boundary for trimming. Give an enter, and we can now remove whatever is between these two particular walls. Alright, so we give a trim. Give an enter to release the command or escape. This wall is still missing, and we realize that it is measured from this wall, and the distance from this wall is 1200 millimeters, or it can also be measured from this wall, which from this wall it would have been 3100. I'm going to be measuring it from this particular wall. Alright, so from this wall I'm going to be doing an offset. So let's go offset. AutoCAD asks us for the distance. It says 3150 plus 150. That gives us 3300. Enter, and it is measured from this wall in this direction. Alright, again we realize that this wall terminates with this wall. These two walls should terminate together. Likewise, these two walls should terminate together somewhere here. To do that, we go to our modify, and from our fillet, let's go fillet, select fillet, and your radius is already set at 0. But since we want to do more than one, we want to do a multiple. So from here, we could now go and select multiple, meaning we want to do more than one fillet. We want to fillet this wall with this wall, and again this same wall with this wall. There we would have had this feature. Alright, we would have had the bedroom with a space to accommodate a door, another bedroom with a space to accommodate the door somewhere here. With that being done, that side of the building would have been completed. Alright, so I give an escape or an enter to release that command. I could just stop here and put the porch in, because the front porch has a depth of 2100 given as an internal measurement between two walls. And so I'm going to give an offset from my modify. I give an offset. The distance when prompted, it would have been 2100 plus 150, so that's 2250 millimeters. Alright, and that is measured. Give an enter, and that is measured from this wall in this direction. There we would have had this wall serving as the porch. I'm going to just move over and complete this side of the building. Alright, I'm going to complete now this side of the building. To do that, I'm going to be offsetting the requisite distances as indicated from the drawing. I'm going to escaping my command to return to my idle crosshair. The distance of the master bedroom from the front wall moving towards the closet is given as 4.5. So I'm going to be doing an offset of 4.5 plus 150 gives me 4650. Give an enter, and it is from this wall in this direction. That thereby gives us this wall right here. Behind that, we would have had both closet, his closet and hers and her closet would have been somewhere here and here respectively, and that has a depth, or those actually, because they are equal in depth, having a depth of 2100. So we give a enter to release the command, enter to return into offset, and it's again going to be 2250, which would have been the 2100 plus the 150. We give an enter, and it is from this wall in this direction. Again, this wall is in. I'm going to just stop here and put in the partitioning wall between closets at this point. His closet, as indicated here, having a width, so I'm going to give an offset enter, and enter again to enter the command, and it says 1650 plus 150. That brings us to 1800 millimeters, and it is from this wall in this direction. Alright, there is no need for the closet wall to protrude into the master bathroom or into the master bedroom, so these two portions here will have to be removed as indicated on the drawing here. So to do that, we go modify, we go into our trim, we trim, and this is one boundary to remove this piece, and this is another boundary to remove this piece. I give enter, and I remove this piece as well as this portion of the wall. Alright, clean it up nicely as indicated here. Let's give an enter to release the command. There is a width, oops, I'm sorry, let me zoom that back in. There is a width for a passage here, but I'm not too concerned with that width just now, because when the bathroom is created, it will also provide us with that wall partitioning the closet here. Alright, so I'm going to go now and move, let me zoom a little closer. The master bathroom, which is here, has a dimension moving to the back of 3100 measured from this wall. So again, I do an offset of 3250. I enter, and it is measured from this wall in this direction. There I would have had this wall. Alright. The width of the master bathroom, however, is measured from this wall in this direction as 2850. I give an enter of 3000, which is the 2850 plus 150. Enter from this wall in this direction. Alright. These two pieces beyond these two walls, however, beyond these two walls actually, must now be cleaned up. Alright. To do that, I go modify, trim, and I'm going to trim whatever protrudes beyond this wall as well as this wall. I've selected this wall and this wall here. I give an enter, and I remove this portion as well as this portion. So I have the setup that's happening here. From the diagram, however, we realize that they have trimmed out an opening here as well as here. And our drawing, that would be this piece here as well as this piece here. We're not going to be removing those. We would prefer for those to accommodate arches as opposed to there not being any wall at all. So I'm going to be leaving those pieces for now. Alright, and so I'm moving on to my carport. Alright, so let me zoom in as we work, and that's a good habit to keep zooming and panning as you move along your work. Alright, now I'm in this general area which is going to be populated here. Our carport has a depth measured from this wall in this direction, or a width preferably of 3.6. So let me do an offset of 3750 millimeters. Enter, and it is from this wall in this direction. There we would have had our carport, just that it should have a protrusion to the front portion here as indicated. The size of that protrusion is given as 900, and again it's an external measurement. So we do an enter of 900, give an enter, and it is measured from this wall in this direction. Now this wall, which is this wall, should be terminated with this wall. Likewise, this wall terminated with this wall. If you remember, to do that, we give a fillet from your modify. We give fillet, and I'm already in a command. Let me escape. Let me go again. Let me go modify and say fillet. There we go. And we need that fillet to have a radius of 0. So we accept that. We also wanted multiple because there is going to be more than one of such corners to be filleted. So we say multiple. And you want to fillet this one with this one, and again this one with this one. Alright, there we would have had the garage being, or the carport being sorted out. Alright, now we realize though that there is no need for this wall beyond this point, and so this wall here should be terminated at this point here. And so we go to our modify and we trim, selecting this as our boundary, give an enter, and we remove this portion. Alright, escape to release the command. Now let me scroll down to see what's behind this carport. There's going to be a closet created here. There's going to be a closet created in this area. Sorry, not a closet, a washroom rather, created in this general area. And the washroom measured from this wall in this direction is 3000. So let's do an offset of 3150. Enter, and it is measured from this wall in this direction. Alright, so as to avoid confusion, let us even do some cleaning up right now. So let's go modify and let us trim anything that crosses this wall here. Enter, referring to this piece. Here we would have had this corner being cleaned up. So you will notice it's good practice to not draw in too many walls before you clean up. You know, it's best to keep drawing, cleaning up, drawing, cleaning up, and that would help to alleviate or to avoid some of the confusions. All right. The washroom measured from the garage has a depth of or a width, whichever you prefer, of 2112 plus 150. So we do an offset of 2262, if my maths is correct. Give an enter, and that is measured from this wall in this direction. Alright, there we go. Now the building is to be terminated at this point here. In other words, this piece of wall is to be removed. Likewise, this piece is to be removed. To do that, we go modify, trim. This is the boundary to have this piece removed. So let's remove that. Give an enter, and this would have been the boundary. Enter, to have this piece removed. Also, you would realize too that the washroom wall is the same wall that actually forms the kitchen, and so all is necessary is for us to extend from this wall to this wall. To do that, we could use the extend from our modify, or it would be easier for us to just grab the wall, hang on to this arrow here, and drag it to this wall. Oh, my snaps are turned off. Alright, let me do it by extending. Let me escape that. So from our modify, I could have gone extend. I want to extend to this line, enter, and I want to extend from this line. Enter. Alright, these two pieces of wall around here can now be removed. So let us do a trim. Let's do a trim. Select these wall as our boundary. Give enter and remove this piece as well as this piece. Alright, and the only thing that would be left is for us now to measure and put in our kitchen. Alright, the kitchen has a depth of 2800, so let's do an offset of 2950 millimeters. Give an enter, and it is measured from this wall in this direction. And finally, we will be removing this piece. So we give a trim. This is now our boundary. Give enter and remove that. Alright. Now for comparison, we can let me zoom a little smaller. So by comparison, we could let me give escape and notice that our building has now been constructed in 3 dimensions. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and close the PDF version because there is really no further need for that. So let me close that and maximize my screen. Now I'm going to show you how to split the screen so that we could actually realize that what we have produced is a 3-dimensional building. Alright, to do that, in the top left corner of your interface, we will have our viewport controls, which is a little minus symbol. If we were to hit on that and go view configuration list, we could now split our screen into various segments. For example, 2 verticals, 2 horizontal. You could split it into 3, 4 on the left, 3 above, 3 below. You could split it into 4 equal pieces, whatever. All right, I'm going to split my screen into 2 verticals. Alright, so I've split my screen both ways, but the thing is, both sides are displaying a top view of the object. Alright, I would want the right side perhaps to be displaying the same building in a 3-dimensional form. So to do that, I'm going to change the view from a top view, and I'm going to be changing that to one of the isometric views, perhaps a southwest view. So let me do that. And we would have had the object in wireframe. For some persons, it might be a little bit confusing looking at a building in wireframe, and so you might want to change it from a 2D wireframe into perhaps a conceptual, maybe. That might be a little more pleasing to look at. And now you could orbit the building. Alright, you could now orbit the building by holding down on your shift key while depressing the wheel button and pushing the mouse gently around. We could be looking at the building in 3 dimensions. Alright, another way you could be doing orbiting as well is to go from your view, pull down, and you could go orbit, which is the symbol here, and you could now use the left click button. Depress the left click button and you could slowly push the mouse around and it gives the same effect. Alright, so have fun doing that, and I even encourage you to find other buildings perhaps on the internet that you could practice producing your 3-dimensional buildings of. Alright, let me give an escape to escape my orbiting command. I do hope you have found this video useful. Until our next video, where we will be looking at applying roof structures to this building, because for this particular building we're going to be applying a slab roof feature as well as a pitched roof to this particular building. So until then, pleasant drawings.